Ladies and gentlemen, this is Frank Donga, and you're listening to Boom Radio. Boom Radio. Keep listening. Don't touch it.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It is the Boom Bar right here on your Boom Radio NG. A big warm welcome to the bar today. We're going to be talking about a couple of things. Okay. We're going to be talking about a couple of things today at the bar. We know there's still a lot of updates coming from the governance protest. And these are part of the things that we're going to be talking about. There are definitely a lot of updates from that angle. There's a lot of, would I say security issues? I won't call it security issues, but there are quite a number of things that we're going to be breaking down today. The FCCPC is in the news. There are a lot of things that they're trying to explain and trying to understand. So that we're going to be talking about. Also, of course, we know it is Olympics. So we're going to be having a bit of Olympic updates. A bit of good news from Team Nigeria as well. So sit back, relax as we enjoy today's show. And with me in the studio today is Sola Rogers.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for being there. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. Let's do this together.
So let's get right into today's gist, as we're going to be talking about, like I said earlier, we're going to be talking about a lot of things, starting from basically updates from, there's been a lot of updates, a lot of updates from the end bad governance. And, we're starting from a very interesting angle. So now, the police are decided to put an update on some of these things. So before we even get to that, I saw a video yesterday where obviously the man is a Southeasterner, was going on about how a lot of people don't know the reason why they're protesting. How some of the things that you are protesting about are probably the best that you've ever gotten from the Nigerian government, but people are protesting. And I think that it's actually, a few people actually think that way. Let's not lie. However, I think it's something that we should actually also address, as the fact that we might say, okay, they might be doing the right things, but is it also right to invalidate people's reality, present reality?
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought there was more. I thought there was some kind of punchline. I was waiting for it. So that's the punchline, like invalidating people's realities based on their need to protest or not protest.
Yeah.
I don't think that's what that person was doing. I don't think that's what the person was out to achieve. I strongly believe that we might not have really listened to some of the breakdowns that we did here. We're saying that there are different categories of people protesting. There are people who, I'm going to repeat it again. There's a thought that hit my head first. Let me put that out first. It's part of this though. It's related to this. And it has to do with how I know someone who is an activist, is a known activist, and he was talking about how they are fighting for the people. Mm-hmm. And I looked at their activities over this period of protesting, and I came to the conclusion that nobody is fighting for the masses. Nobody.
Okay. Really? Why
nobody is fighting for the masses. Everybody, in fact, nobody is protecting or working for the masses. The politicians are majorly doing it for their pocket, most of them. I've not really met a selfless politician in this country. When you look at it, a guy that's selfless in the world of in the real world, in the true sense of the word, I have not met that person. Now, it's the same thing for the activists. Oh, these people have been fighting for Nigeria for 4 decades, 3 decades, and 2 decades or 2 days. I have not seen one activist. Because when you start to understand how some of them stand to benefit certain things from some of the things that they do, either directly from government or indirectly, or from foreign support that they get from grants here and there and all of that, then you start to look like, okay, are you really fighting for the people? That's my thought. So I'm saying again that nobody is really, really fighting for the people, and the people are more or less on their own. So, to some of the people who hit the streets, who talked about the hardship that they are going through and going through, it is true that some people are going through that.
Yeah.
And that's their reality. And it would be wrong to say they don't exist. Because we are also going through a lot.
Yeah, even if you're not
suffering
in the name of suffering.
We might not hit the streets.
The money that you are getting,
like we used to, but we're going through a lot.
You're spending a lot. And the money you're making,
your income has not increased.
It's not increased. So yes.
And your expenditure has gone up. Everything has gone up. So yes. So there are people like that because I can relate to them and their reality. But there are some people again who every time there's a protest, I've said it more than once here, that's their bread and butter. There was a protest in South Africa and I saw people looting everything lootable. Imagine looting stuff from an undertaker.
It's
Do you remember those pictures?
Yes, I remember. Protests got to Nigeria now.
Yeah, then they went to loot ShopRite.
And then you're attacking. Everybody was going on about how South Africans were
xenophobia.
Were treating Nigerians badly. But you are now treating Nigerians badly
yourselves.
by yourselves.
Yeah. So whatever that person said, I'm sure he wasn't trying to invalidate. He's just trying to analyze the scenario and the situation that we all find ourselves in, seeing that how there's a lot of angry people, hungry people, but there are also people in between who are using these people. Now, the politicians need you to be calm because the elections are coming in less than 3 years' time. The activists need you to be angry
because they're making money
so that they can push their agendas and all.
However,
very, very few activists are in the game for the love of the game.
So now, another thing that maybe might upset a few people and something that I also want to point out is that that people also need to realize that half of the people protesting are jobless. Jobless is some because they can't genuinely find jobs, some because that's just the way life is and they're just not, just going with the wind. You talk about not going to school, not gaining any skills, and suddenly you want to make money. Take, for example, there's a very nice gesture how Nigerians had raised money for a particular man who had talked about how his son, he needs money for his son to learn programming and all that. And in one angle, it's actually is a very nice gesture and is a very nice thing for him to do. However, there's also the angle that you would also, no matter how good the country is, there's still some people that the opportunities will still be around them and they will still not use it and they will still always have something to complain about.
You see, life in itself is not easy. From the day you are born, you start to struggle.
Oh yeah. Do
you understand? It was actually never meant to be easy. But you need to learn how to navigate, those murky, dangerous waters of life to get to your own island or mainland where you would be able to rest from time to time. Yeah, but the storms will still come. That's the reality of life. Now, we see scenarios where everybody believes that this is their El Dorado or this is pastures green. You've seen people migrate from the rural part of Nigeria to the urban part in search of the golden fleece.
They don't even get fleece, talk less of golden.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
But you've also seen people from those same urban areas that people are coming to make it. And there are people in the urban area saying, no, I gotta go.
Go, yeah.
So they step out of the country. They go to Ghana, go to Libya, they go to Europe, Asia, and far-flung places like...
Or people even stay in those so-called...
Afghanistan, Australia.
Or so-called rural areas. Make use of the opportunity in those places and make good for them.
Yeah, but I was coming to that, but I'm glad that you've done that. But I'm just trying to say that the reality is that you find that people feel the need to go in search of what's going to make them successful, in quotes. Then you find that the Nigerians who have immigrated to America, for instance, some of them make it and make it better than they were in Nigeria.
Yeah.
And some of them will never make it, no matter what they do.
Yep.
But guess what? A lot of them make it more than those who don't. Because maybe they look back and say, man, I can't go back empty-handed to Nigeria if I have to. So it has to pay off.
Yeah.
But don't we have homeless people in America? Don't we have poor people in America? How is it possible that people from Mexico, from Haiti, from Nigeria, from Pakistan, India in particular, immigrate to the US, immigrate to Canada, and make it?
Yeah.
So
Peterman says, let's be honest, this Indomie generation will not relocate to the small towns and villages.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Yeah, it's their upbringing. It's easy for us to vilify them, but I'd rather talk to their parents because they have failed. You failed these children because you did not train them properly. So for the man who, while protesting, I think it was Olu Phillips of Channels that was talking to him or something, and was talking about how it was hard for him to buy credit. It could have actually been his own fault, not the fault of the government.
Now you get my point.
No,
like,
I did not. I did not unget your point. I had to establish that in reality, at times,
he might not really
regardless
be the fault of the government.
Look, there was a guy who had invested a lot of money in face mask, all these PPEs and surgical things during Ebola scare. Nigeria handled Ebola so well that it did not spread like they predicted it would. Do you get? And the guy virtually lost his investment. But the only thing he did for himself was that he had enough money to store those things, and he was begging to sell them for years. Like, it was at some point he just abandoned them because he didn't even get close to what he had invested. Suddenly, from nowhere, COVID-19 came. True story. COVID-19 came, and now people have exhausted all the sanitizers and PPEs and the mask, and they're looking to import during COVID. And this man had a warehouse full of it. So opportunity met, preparation, and the guy became very rich. Nigerian guy, true story. Do you understand? So what I'm trying to say in essence is that at times the policies might not suit you. It's your fault. The policies might suit you. It's your luck.
You will still not make...
but you might still not break through. Do you understand? So at the end of the day, maybe it's your fault that you couldn't buy data for your son.
At
who
times
wants to be a programmer.
So at times we need to sit in.
We've been programmed so much to blame somebody else for our problems.
Everything.
Everybody's problem is caused by somebody else, and it's usually the government.
Okay, so Peterman says, by the way, check out the remake of Ifeanyi Eddie's Okwedu's 1970s classic song Happy Survival by Childish Gambino. Ghanaians, as usual, are already claiming it as their own. Oh, wow.
Yeah, we know it's standard thing for our brothers from Ghana. Any big thing that comes out of Nigeria, it's theirs.
Why do you?
But it's their thing. It's their thing.
No, I don't.
But there were little brothers from Ghana, our bros, them. So, guys,
I'm not listening to it. I'll definitely will look out for it. However, I don't know this original one, so maybe it's
a good time
look for
to
the
look for the original and Childish Gambino's.
Look for Childish Gambino's one. Yes,
and Childish Gambino, I'd always liked him. Then he was acting. But when he did that, this is America. That was thought provoking. Like, I'm like, okay, this is crazy, like, and very creative. And thank you for putting us onto this
on
one.
that one. We'll definitely check it out.
So
do you understand? That's what I was trying to.
Staying with everything that we're discussing, I'm glad that Peterman has brought a lot of flavor into it. We must not always blame other. You see, I think it's extremely toxic for you to think that everything that happens to you, somebody else's fault. When are you going to sit down and look and say, okay, maybe
if
my
I
skills.
had done this, maybe I need to up my skills. Maybe, okay. Peterman says the same title. He just used the chorus and kept all the same instrumental. Wow. Yes, check it out. That definitely would. Don't worry. On Monday, I'm going to give you a review of what I think about it. Now. So, do you understand? So, as much as we have been, a lot of people, most people have been programmed to blame the government for. So, I was watching the interview of the Minister of, I think, ICT and Communications, Bosu Tijani, when he was talking about the havoc that was wreaked in Kano and all that, and that he had seen some people's comments talk about that, that is good for the government, that why would they go and put such an elaborate thing in Kano State? And I'm like, and he was like, why not Kano? What makes Kano, what makes somewhere like Lagos special that Kano isn't? Now, these are the same people that if those things are not put in other states, you say, it's only Lagos that gets these opportunities. Now, for someone to think like that, it means that the opportunities that are around you, are you actually checking it out?
And you know, a lot of people are not aware of all the opportunities like Dolupo put them because, one, the government does not have the capacity, they've shown it, to highlight everything that they are doing. Two, some people have blocked their ears and their eyes.
They are not going
they don't want to hear. They don't care. To them, I was talking to someone and I was reading what he wrote, and I'm tired of taking him up on it, so I just left him. He goes that this government has done nothing, absolutely nothing. I'm like, okay.
Tell that to the person that his school fees was paid last week.
Okay, they've done nothing.
Tell that to the core member that got 33,000 last month and is going to get 77,000 this month.
You know, they've done nothing. There's the Niger. There's the Southeast Development Commission. There's the Northeast.
There's the Northwest Development Commission. Tell that to those people.
They've done nothing, and I can look at all this list. Yes, because we want more. Do you understand? And it's also born out of this programming that is the center that has to do everything. Oh, the president has not done this. A lady put out, went to protest yesterday, and she didn't look like she was joking, but I take that picture as a joke. She says she's 37 years old. Yeah. And she's single because government did not... we posted that picture on our social media.
Because of government. Because
that
of
she's
bad
single because of bad governance. And in the same bad governance, people they marry.
Are getting married.
Your mates, some women even have 2 husbands.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And men, they have 4 or 5 wives.
Around that age bracket that has been married twice and divorced twice. So,
are you at 37? Are you blaming government? Else. So, again, it's down to us as a people, as a person. You better ask yourself, like, if you don't have a mirror, go borrow one. Preferably buy one.
You need to sit in it
and look at it and ask yourself these questions. You know, because every time
the honest truth is that I feel that if the economy is better, the opportunities you have can be better.
Oh yeah.
The what you have, you can yield more.
It will
yield more. But let us first start with what have you done as a person. So before we move on from that, Chief Onikoko says Happy Survival by Eddie was the first major hit that came out of the East post-Civil War. It was a song to celebrate the resilience. I have listened to both songs. Gambino pretty much copied and pasted.
Yeah, I quickly looked at some things when Peterman mentioned it, and everybody's saying that it was just basically the chords, the strings, everything that is done. Now, my own joy in that is that this is more awareness for
I probably brought this to remembrance. I never knew that song existed.
But the sad part for me is will him or his family or some people get some kind of, money in return for this? Because Gambino is big and it's going to make a lot of money. And by the time the controversy starts, when people start to say, oh, it's a cultural appropriation or they jacked the song from Africa.
I don't think that this kind of
I'm sorry. It's going to create more eyeballs and more views and more downloads. At the end of the day, that's what the music industry is all about.
Yeah, I really just hope, because I don't think someone like Childish Gambino would, actually with their own culture of copyright.
Have you heard about Shakira before? A certain lady called Shakira.
Yeah.
Waka Waka.
Yeah.
Zamina Mina. It's a song by some Cameroonian people. We used to sing it even when we were Boy Scouts then. She says she wrote that song. You've not heard that part, Abi?
No, I'm not.
Okay. Maybe you need to look it up. So don't assume. I would never assume anything, Dolupo.
True.
I won't. I don't trust all these people because, look, I saw a video of Sir Paul McCartney, and he was working on an album I think it was in the 70s, and he came to Nigeria. And he said, people started saying that he had come to steal the Nigerian music or the African music or whatever. And that he had to go and meet Fela at the shrine to explain himself to Fela Kuti. I saw that video and it was very enlightening for me. And a few years after, I'm watching another video of Sir Paul McCartney talking about his meeting with Fela and breaking down Fela's music. The riff, the rhythm, everything. Just by being there. Yeah, so you don't know when they are borrowing and they are stealing.
So Chief Onikogo says, like I mentioned the last time, we don't own rights to most of our masters from the 60s and 70s and 80s.
They belong to those
before Shina Peters. A major hit song in South America last year sampled Akpala, Haruno Ishola. LOL.
He's right.
I think so.
When Nigeria was doing well in the 60s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, we had Decca and all the foreign labels. And of course, the kind of deals that our people signed now. Apart from the ones that were signed to the local labels. And even the local labels showed them pepper. Yeah. Remember the story of Keith Soniade and how his record label almost wrecked him?
Yeah. So I think that a lot of people, which also happened with younger ones, where we saw a lot. I think now a lot of people are just finally getting enlightened. The fact that us, in the name of you want your song to be out there, you want to blow, people just sign all sorts of ridiculous things.
I was at a Femi Kuti show at the French Cultural Center. I think that was sometime in the 90s. And during that performance, then the French Cultural Center used to be on this Alfred Rewane. I think they changed the name a couple of times now. And people in the crowd were shouting that he should sing a Fela song. And Femi stopped the music for a while to talk to us in the crowd and said, look, that whenever he goes abroad, especially France, that he actually has to pay to sing his own father's song. And now he sees some artists, he didn't want to mention him. I know it was Dede that he was talking. Sorry, I didn't mention his name too.
You just did.
I did not.
Yes, you did.
Ojaboni. So it was talking about how some artists were making a living off copying Fela and singing Fela songs. And this was in the 90s before this generation of Afro beats with the S came. And he just said now he had approval to perform. There's this Akuwa. And he did that, you know. Fantastic song. It's a crazy song. People go crazy when they hear it. And that showed me how serious the music industry was. That you can't just say because you're Fela's son or you're Bob Marley's son, you're not going to go and perform his song without approval, without paying.
So Peterman says more great artists were signing 360 deals in the 60s.
Yeah, it's sad.
I think it was just a really bit sad. Of ignorance.
Yeah, it was really sad.
Honestly, I think that this still happened up until maybe 5-6 years ago.
It happened locally. It happens locally. It's still happening locally.
It still happened. I think maybe
not with the foreign labels now.
Yeah, but people are just even these younger ones. You hear the kind of deals people like all them Kiss Daniel. Yeah. All these.
Which Kiss Daniel are you talking about? The Kiss or the Keys?
Whichever one.
He had to change his name from Kiss to
Remember
Keys.
Runtown? There was a lot of these recent ones that we even know signed all sorts of deals.
Even Davido almost got into a jam.
Time. If not for his daddy's money at some point. Anyway, we're still talking about the protest. Now, moving on from all the gist that we're talking about, let's talk about basically updates from the protest. So yesterday, the Inspector General of Police did a broadcast where he said that a policeman was murdered in the protest. and he had put officers on red alert. There are a few others that also got injured in a lot of states in the north. Now, with that, I wanted to ask something. Remember NSAS protest?
Yeah.
There was hardly any protest in the north. I think there was a bit in, Kaduna and Kano, and there maybe 1 or 2 days, and then it was shut down. What we're seeing in the southeast now and in the southwest now is what happened in the north during NSAS protest. Ow.
You want to spoil the microphone?
Now, 4 years later, we're seeing a switch in the issues that have happened. What would we say? Of course, will we say that the South had learnt their lessons?
I have a take on it.
And the North did not?
I have a take on it, and it's two things that I've heard people say, and let me bring it to the table. One of the things is that when you're talking about end SARS and police brutality, it's not prevalent in the North. Hardly would you see anybody in the North. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm saying it's not prevalent. It's not as common as it is in the South. Remember that what led to the NSAS, the final straw was what happened in Delta State, not even in Lagos.
Yeah.
I have been a victim of police brutality myself once or twice, so I can relate. But the one that actually sparked it off was Delta State, and people hit the street and it spread to Lagos, Port Harcourt, boom, shut down. 2 weeks, everything was stupid. Now, in the North, you hardly ever hear about police brutality. So
maybe because they have they have so much insecurity that the police doesn't even have time for you.
Maybe, or maybe because the police act a different way in the North than they do in the South.
Possibly. And that's what I'm saying. The actions, they're already.
But you know about that, I'm saying that NSAS started as a protest against police brutality before it became an attempted coup.
Yeah.
It was actually police brutality. Remember that Governor Sanwo-Olu actually went to the protesters. He went to them on the island. He went to them on the mainland.
That was what
when he went there, they handed their demand, 7-point demand to him. I remember one day that the day he went there, they were playing this Davido song while he was talking. They said, "Fem, it be like you don't, they talk too much, fem." He didn't get angry. And the same day, he flew to Abuja and presented. We saw the video of him presenting, the demands to the president. And just after that, they quickly changed it and said, "And Buhari government must go."
Resign,
That's not going to happen to any government. Jonathan, Buhari, anybody. They will use their tenure. You can only remove them through the ballot or through impeachment. Now, that's NSAS for you. The other angle is that notice that no matter how bad things are, people from a certain region hardly ever fight their brother when he's in charge. It's only the Yoruba people that would do it.
It's the Yoruba people. They are always fighting.
They didn't. When Obasanjo was there, Yoruba no send them.
Ijawa Ejausi always guide.
Always guide you.
Always guide.
But
anyway, Chivoni Koko says the new hashtag trending now is Tinubu and gang must go. That's the whole agenda.
That's the agenda from the
Sadly,
get.
those things don't work. I don't know why people have not learned. But
You see, I don't know the kind of mind that I have, because when I hear something must go, I try to look at it and say, who are you telling? What will the person do when the person says this?
Okay, so they will just say, okay, they say I should go. Okay, let's pack our bag. Remy, let's go.
As powerful as some hashtags are, you look at it and say, okay, what is this going to achieve? Apart from it going viral, what exactly will it achieve? Because if a Bola Tinubu sees Tinubu must go now, we say, they are tweeting this thing too much, then he will pack his bag and call his wife and call his son and everybody. Let's go back to Bodilon. I don't think so. So at times, channel your energy into things that can actually achieve results. You want a Bola Tinubu out. Okay, maybe go and meet your House of Assembly member and your senator and your House of Rep member and pressurize them to take it to the House and impeach him.
Okay,
it can be impeached now.
Yeah, you can. Peterman says,
or wait for the elections.
Yoruba liberals, they are our problem. I'm not I am Yoruba, but
yeah. I see a lot of people complain about a certain group of people, and those people to respond all the time to say that you people are yogurts. I don't want to use the word, something gotcha. You know, and they use it for the other side, not you guys now. So what I'm trying to say in essence is that, so people will say, oh, it's their brother that is president, they don't want to protest against him. Do you get? So maybe those were the things that didn't make that thing catch on during the time of Muhammadu Buhari. Maybe. I can't say that for a fact, but it's just a thought that came through my mind. Like, one, there was no real cases or major cases or a lot of cases of police brutality. Two, why we want to protest when Buhari is our brother and is in government? Maybe that's the mentality. I stand to be corrected, you know. But with this one, it's not about police brutality. Because if we take a poll, not everybody has experienced it. But everybody has experienced the effects of policy changes that Bola Tinubu has wrought. Yeah. That's the truth.
Oh, yeah.
Now, if these policies will pay off, only time will tell. I wish they would, because we're all paying the price now. We're all sacrificing. Things are crazy. I'm not going to lie. Like, if we used to run this program with NEPA once in a while, and it's gone. So you have to run gas, not even petrol, to be live here. So there are a lot of costs that we incur. But imagine if power had become so constant that you don't even bother to use your generator.
Yeah, so Chief Onikoko says, on a more serious note, guys, you can't be liberal when everybody around you is very conservative. That mindset makes you vulnerable.
Very, very vulnerable. And I'm looking at, there's some things that's happening in the world. I get where Chief Onikoko is coming from. And let's be honest with ourselves, because at times we play a lot and we banter. But today, you know, breaking things down in reality, immigration has its plus and minuses. It has its plus and minuses. The plus might be that, oh, some people are bringing some skill sets and some flavor to your neighborhood, or you are the one taking it to another place. But the minuses are also there. Seeing that how some of the locals or the original owners of land will feel like, oh man, this person is trying to take over our land. So we see all of those things, and everybody at the end of the day is about the survival of themselves and their race. So I get what he's saying, even beyond what he has said.
Yeah, it's.
However, we must get to a point where we look for how we can legally restructure Nigeria or live in Nigeria that favors everybody.
That makes sense. So this afternoon, the police have decided to distribute bottled water to protesters at Ojota in Lagos.
Yeah, this happened at the other riot too. At some point, you know, it's a good thing, because the police are basically working very hard to say that, look, we're not your enemies. We're just here to keep the law.
Keep you in check.
You know. However, it's a far cry from what we used to have. Whether they beat us that time.
I think that a lot more awareness has come up with those things. Also, maybe because there wasn't so much social media then. There wasn't social media at all. So there wasn't a lot of evidence. Whatever it is they do, and nothing is going to come out of it. Really. I think the idea of having phones to take pictures and videos of everything has also kept them in check. However, that has now also emboldened Nigerians. And I think this is also where we need to draw the line. You want to protest, go ahead and protest. And I said it yesterday, there were today, there were tear gassed. There were a lot of protesters that were tear gassed in Abuja. Why? Because in Gwagwalada, around Berga as well. And because you are not at the National Stadium. They're telling you yesterday, a lot of people were also tear gassed at Lekki in Lagos. You are not supposed to be there. Wherever you are in the States, I believe there's nowhere you stay that Governor Sanwo-Olu would not know that you are there.
I'm going to say something, and I know I have a lot of friends who are activists, and they're going to hate this. But we can all safely conclude now and agree that there's really nothing like peaceful protest in Nigeria.
Oh, it's looking like it's peaceful in Lagos, at least. Everybody
Dolupo.
seems to be going around their businesses.
Dolupo, it's a collective protest. You cannot isolate Lagos. Zaria that they trooped out this morning en masse is a part of Nigeria. It's a pan-Nigeria protest minus the southeast.
I think it's safe to there's some states in the southwest though that they are not even protesting at all.
I am saying it too, that I have now come to that conclusion. You don't have to agree with me though. In fact, I need people to disagree with me. You know, how is it possible?
Maybe in Nigerian context.
I said Nigeria.
Yeah,
I did not say America.
Context, yes, I think I agree.
It's as if you don't listen to me.
It's almost like as if the minute you hear protest, and I think that's what a lot of people are scared about.
People, listen. The organizers, because there are many of them, Showore, Deji in Abuja.
Yeah, Adeyanju.
Deji Adeyanju. They're saying that this protest that they did was successful. I saw him talking on Channels TV.
That's cool.
It's not, sir, because people have died. You see, the policeman that was killed, I think in Kaduna also, was shot. That means the rioters had guns.
Guns, because how did a policeman
Do you understand?
get shot? Yeah.
So, understanding the country that you live in, I'm not saying you shouldn't protest, though, but your protest will not work anymore because right now, what we see is you creating an enabling environment for criminals.
That's what happens a lot.
So, understanding the country that you live in, can you vouch for yourself and also vouch for those people? You can't.
It's interesting. Now, in Borno State today, an IED exploded, killing one person and injuring 11 people during the protest. Today, the police have arrested 269 suspects for the looting that went on in Kano yesterday. In Kano, there's now officially a curfew. In Kaduna, about 25 people got arrested. Also, they had barricaded the government house to avoid the government house road, especially because we know a few government houses were overrun yesterday as well. Also, 50 people got arrested in Nasarawa yesterday.
You know, looking at the list of people that you reeled out now, it's close to 500 people.
Oh, yeah. 18 people got arrested in Yobe as well.
200 and something in Kano, 50 in Nasarawa, and all of that. About 500 people, right? Before your protest, these 500 people would not have been arrested. You know, they would have been free as a bird. But again, I hope that they've been arrested and there's proof that they were caught in the act, because mob action is hard to decipher who and who did what.
Exactly.
You know?
It's such a very sad word. Now, still talking about protest and a lot of conversations that have happened about the protest. Now, there's a video that a lot of people have been attributing to Peter Obi where he had said that if people were going to war, let it be war. Something funny like that.
Mm-hmm.
He has now come to say that people were misconstruing that video, that it had nothing to do with the protest, that it was about NLC and Labour Party issues and all that.
Okay. I would like to watch the full video.
That's what he was saying. Also,
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
Another drama that is happening all the way from Abuja, our unofficial Abuja couple.
Number one and number something.
Number one and number God knows what. Wike and Senator Kigibe are in the news again. Now, yesterday, FCT Minister Nyesom Wike had alleged that there's a senator, which he did not name, that senator was sponsoring the protests in Abuja and was sponsoring the disobedience, the civil disobedience in Abuja. However, there's a video that popped up where Senator Kingibe was giving protesters food and drinks, I think. Now, she has now come out to say that this video that people are circulating happened about 6 weeks ago, happened when there was an issue between the NLC and the Labour Party in Abuja, and it was supposed to be a party thing, and that she's not the senator that is sponsoring the protest.
Now, if I was working on Senator Kingibe's team, that would not be the approach that we would have adopted, because they didn't mention your name. So you coming out to say, hey, I wasn't the one, it would even cast more aspersions on you. You know, there's this Yoruba thing like LFO. You know, I'm not going to say more than that. But Senator Kingibe shouldn't have come out to say anything. Like, if I was her, I'll wait until they accuse me. And I know that my hands are clean. So I would win. Do you get? Except otherwise. So if I was her, I would not have come out to say, I'm not the one they are saying, no. No. Let them say it first. Because the truth is, when I saw that video of, some wicked saying that there's a senator that is sponsoring protesters against the government and protests against the government, my mind did
my mind did not even
go
that
to
my mind
her
went
at
to
all.
Yes. I didn't even think
At all. It was when she now responded.
They're like, okay.
I think you brought it to my attention. I'm like, okay. Could it be? How could it be?
It could be.
Yeah. Was it true? Was it correct? So there's Senator Kingibe. Honestly,
leave the man alone. I'm going to
repeat my advice.
She needs to learn to ignore him.
I'm going to repeat my advice to you. Just go and spend the rest of this tenure trying to get the next tenure.
Yeah, she needs to learn
and
to
which
ignore
basically
him.
involves service to the people. You know, let them see that part of you that will make you defeat Wike and his people, because Wike has already said they are coming for that seat.
Okay. Also, just putting out there, the police have also arrested another 81 people for vandalizing stuff in Sokoto as well. Yeah,
Sakwato felt the impact too.
As well. So
again, there's something that I'm not going to fail to put out though, and I'm just going to beg the government. And when I say the government now, I mean the governors and the president. Do not look at this protest basically as a us versus them scenario.
Yeah.
Try and listen to some of the things that have been raised and look for ways to meet their demands.
Exactly.
Look for ways. I'm not saying all the demands, because some of them are incredulous, but I'm saying that, there's a real need by the people.
Yeah.
And they're not asking for too much. Some of them are not.
Now, moving on from that quickly, still coming down to Lagos State. So there was a tweet that came out yesterday from a handle, I think a Lagospedia handle, that had tweeted that on some particular days in the month of August, there was going to be Igbo Must Go protest in Lagos State. And a lot of people have come to say, attack this particular post. However, the governor has now condemned the sponsors of this particular post and saying that there's nothing like that, and has actually asked for a thorough investigation.
I'm aware. I saw His Excellency Abubakar Atiku's tweet about this matter. I'm thinking like, okay, he's talking about how, and he actually did a screen grab of the Lagospedia Twitter handle, saying that there's going to be an Igbo must go thing, that Igbo people must leave the Southwest. According to article responding to it, that it's wrong and everything. And not up to 5 minutes after His Excellency had tweeted, people started asking him, the Deborah tweet that he deleted when that lady was gruesomely murdered, that does he think he has the basis to talk on this one? Then 2, they now showed screen grabs of Northern youth saying that Yorubas must leave the North. Actually published stories.
And he didn't say
and they're asking him, what did you say about that? You get, and that the Igbos too must leave the North at some point. We know we've had all these calls. Now, these are extremist calls, and I do not support any of them. I have a friend who is actually mad at the governor of Lagos for talking about this. But I think he's talked about it because of Atiku raising it. And we must understand that if we do not quickly nip these things in the bud, it can escalate. People would
actually take it.
And usually it's innocent people that are going to bear the brunt. You have innocent Yorubas living in the east. There might not be many, but they are there. And they are also in the north. And vice versa. So Governor Sanwo-Olu speaking about it is projecting into the future to say, we don't want this. Now, it could be anything else behind closed doors, because really and truly, at some point, Nigeria needs to sit down to talk about the structure of Nigeria within the confines of the law, because we're all bound by the law. If there was no law, it would be a different ball game. So to my Igbo brothers, I know that a lot of people will be mad, but we need to speak the truth. This is not how to go about saying Igbo must go. That's not how to go about it. We know that a lot of Igbo people are agitating for their own self-governance anyway. So at some point, maybe through the House of Assembly or some kind of constituent assembly, we need to look at the structure of Nigeria.
Yeah, maybe, but at the moment, I do not think that it's the right thing for anybody to say, especially when security is very volatile at the moment. You never know what will cause a protest or trigger a protest or something. I think that what the governor said at this point was just right. It's better to just nip these things in the bud. Now, moving on from that, let's go to a bit of gist from the FCCPC. Now, the FCCPC
versus
Meta. WhatsApp or Meta. So I think a few days ago, this was well over a week ago, where there was an announcement that the FCCPC had fined WhatsApp about $200 million or something.
Very,
and it looked
just
like about 220 million.
Just 220.
Oh, yeah, they're gone.
It's not. It's not. It's more money compared to the fine that they agreed to pay in Texas. Just Texas alone. That's like $1 billion. You can look it up.
So, however,
for the same offense or alleged offense.
A report had popped up where they had said that there was a representative of WhatsApp that had said that they're thinking of leaving Nigeria because of this FCCPC fine. Now, FCCPC fine has now come out to say that they're standing by their fine.
Yeah.
And what they're doing is for a fairer digital market in Nigeria.
Yeah, a few Nigerians have come out to say that Nigeria should tread with caution and do not chase WhatsApp or Meta away from Nigeria and all of that. But I think we need to expand our scope on this thing. The FCCPC claim that they are protecting you. Your data is being harvested and shared without your permission to sister platforms on Meta, which is not what you signed up for. And even third-party, applications and businesses, according to the FCCPC, which is part of their job. And I've seen some top elite Nigerians now, not top, elite Nigerians saying this is wrong, don't chase them away. Sir, are you looking at what they are saying first?
I think that a lot of people are being ignorant. A lot of people don't know.
And again, agenda moves agenda.
Oh, yeah, it's agenda.
Agenda is agendering.
Okay. Yeah,
but for me, I stand by the FCCPC to find them, which
if they don't want to
make
pay,
them stop.
You want to go
doing what they're doing.
It's not
if they want to go, we can go back to,
we're calling ourselves. It's not.
Hello, Alpha. Where you did?
How you did? Cause it's a big deal. Let's move.
I have apps that you guys can use. That is not.
Anyway, FCCPC still has a few things to say. They're still in the news, and they're now cautioning Coca-Cola and the Nigerian bottling company, saying that they are making deceptive labeling and unfair marketing tactics. Now, they're saying that there's a particular statement that Coke is using now, saying that original taste, less sugar. but that it's not true.
Very
Because if you see the contents of the old one and the new one, and even the taste, and with all the experiments they've gone, it's not the same taste and it's not the same thing. So don't be deceptive in your marketing.
Okay, so basically, what they are saying now is that this brand is identifying as less sugar.
Yes.
I like what I did there. You know, it's the same way some people can be this and say they identify as that. So these people too are saying that they're identifying as
Identify as what you are,
as less sugar.
and let's stick to the issues.
Oh my God. It's an interesting one. It's good to see that some government agencies are actually living up to the billing. They're trying to do their jobs, and most times we now start fighting them. Meanwhile, now us they protect.
Anyway,
Identify as less sugar.
Yeah, don't identify as what you are doing.
And you didn't reduce the sugar.
Don't be doing that. Now, Kaduna Revenue Service had sealed electricity company over 600 million naira tax in payment that they did not pay. Still talking about a bit of power. Yanagwa was thrown into darkness after vandals destroyed 2 transmission towers.
Yeah, that thing is becoming some kind of a thing now. And I don't know how Nigeria is going to prevent it. A lot of terrorists up north, it's been happening a lot this year. A few last year, but it's increased this year.
It's increased this year.
We call those things power line in Nigeria. And they go there and blow up 1 or 2 of them. And that shuts down power for an entire area. This is something that we should not allow to spread.
Now, moving on from that, just before we leave the issue of Meta. So, apparently, Turkey has blocked access to Instagram without any explanation, not tell anybody anything. They don't know when they're going to release it, why they did, and they just blocked it.
We don't know why. We too will continue to investigate.
I'm not investigating nothing. Why am I investigating nothing?
So people
It's
in Turkey now cannot show their turkey that they are eating.
No, although you
Instagram.
use VPN.
To go and show turkey that they are eating in Turkey.
Now, moving on from that, interestingly, a Nigerian family is facing deportation from Canada over fake admission letter. Now, the drama is that there's a particular woman, I think around 2015, she moved from Nigeria to Canada, that she used an admission letter from the school to gain visa and PR and all that. And then a few weeks to her convocation, the immigration told her that she came under false pretenses. Now, where my question goes is that if it was fake admission letter, which she's saying that it was an agent that did it for her and give it to her, if it was fake admission letter, why did the school admit her?
Yeah, how is that possible?
Because when you get there,
she's
they
not in
should
their
verify,
database,
yeah.
And they now admitted her. Is it possible?
After they've collected all her money for school fees, you now realize that you're not. Yeah.
It's unfair on her because I am tempted to believe her story.
They should have returned her immediately.
Yeah,
they should have returned her.
She spent all these years there and everything. And if this is a trend, this might not be the first one that we're going to be hearing about. Because, there was a wave of Nigerians, and it's still ongoing, actually immigrating, and a lot of them went to Canada. A lot.
That's it. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, if you're doing it...
Then again, she should actually name and shame that agent, because this is something that is really, really, really sad. After how many years of living in Canada and getting a degree, she's about to, get a gown and everything. Yeah. But can the school also look at...
That's what I'm saying, that there's probably something. So Peterman says, don't believe her story, please. Okay. That's do you understand?
Okay.
Because it was funny to me, because how is it that...
She's about to do a convocation.
Yeah, how do you get into uni? Even in Nigeria. Okay, somebody gave you... And then you now...
She used that's the allegation here.
If your name
and then why
did
she go to the school now? She has entered Canada. She could have just gone somewhere else.
So if your name was not in the database, how did she go to school all through these years?
And spent 3 or 4 years in the school?
Anyway, Sha, Peterman said, well, let's not totally believe
We'll keep
that
an open
story. We
mind.
definitely will keep an open eye and see where all that story is. Now, before we leave quickly, a bit of gist from the Olympics. Now, there's a conversation that happened yesterday where we had talked about a boxing issue yesterday. And that issue was how a lady had stopped the boxing match at 46 seconds.
Yeah, the Italian boxer.
The Italian boxer, because she had
Being punched
in
the face.
and all that, like it hurt and all that. Now, there's now another story to that, saying that the Algerian
boxer
was born a woman, that she's not transgender, that the reason why she was disqualified at the World Championships was because there was a level of testosterone in her body
High.
that was really high, and that a lot of those things were it has now been regulated. Also, the videos of her being beaten over the years.
No, she even lost in the quarterfinals at Tokyo 20.
That she lost. So it's not
20.
like as if she's a woman that this auntie.
It's not like she's a man.
She's a man. Sorry.
She's actually a woman, and she just got better at boxing. So the whole world has come down on her,
Yeah.
and this is a discussion that is still very open.
Yeah, Peterman says there's no Ojota. We are sorry, sir, in Canada. The I can get away with it mentality. My best friend Richard was picked up on graduation day in Florida. It's nothing new. There is more to the story. Peterman says, I honestly don't care about this Olympics. Is it just me?
I think they've done there's a lot of controversy that's making people feel this way.
I agree with you.
I don't know.
Honestly,
But-
I'm more into it for the reportage, not for...
But statistically, there are more people watching and they're reaching more people and all of that. I was watching a report about how a lot of Americans are saying that they had to adjust their timing because they are really, really following the Olympics. And of course, it's China and America now going head to head on the medals table.
So we'll see where all that is going to. Also, Nigeria's Rosemary Chukwuma has now booked a spot in the semi-finals at the women's 100 meters race.
Yeah, the 1% chance of Ophili competing did not materialize. So sadly, and then the other lady, God bless, also she came 6th in her own heat, so she's out.
She's out now. Slovakian swimmer Tamara Potoka also collapsed after a race at the Paris Olympics.
The videos of her being rushed out and taken to the hospital.
Yeah,
I hope she's fine as we
I
speak.
really hope she's fine. However, before we leave, the D Tigers have their third game today. Do you think they can win
Today?
this? Keep in mind.
The Tigers, they're playing on Sunday.
Sorry, Sunday. I'm so sorry, Sunday. Do you think they can win this, the last match?
Well, the Canadians have lost their last 2 games. Yeah, they lost the game against Australia, lost against France. They, on the other hand, already defeated Australia. So it should be possible based on that.
Yes.
But sports is not something that you can base on shoulda, woulda, coulda. It has to be down to the, brass tacks. Who is really in need of these points more?
Okay,
but I'm Nigerian. I'm rooting for my girls.
Now, Peter Bat says, Osimhen will sign for Arsenal. Please, God, no Chelsea, please. Wow, why?
Amen.
He also says, God will make a way where there seems to be no way.
Amen.
Osimhen to Arsenal. He will make a way for us. Sing it 2 times. Repeat.
Amen. 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 I honestly feel...
Oh, God.
I'm not an Arsenal fan, right? I don't support any of these teams openly. But I feel that Osimhen is built for Arsenal. I've been saying it for months. The way Arsenal is structured and the kind of play that Osimhen has, I feel he's going to be a success if he makes it, to the Gunners.
Anyway, we'll see where all that drama is going to. But on that note, that is all we have to take today on The Bar. Thank you for listening. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for all the comments. We'll be back again on Monday at 3 p.m. West African time to give you another wonderful edition of The Boom Bar. Have a beautiful, beautiful weekend.